Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan, sitting in for Dan.
Oh, welcome back, Dan.
Thanks.
Coming up on today's episode, Pie and Beer Day.
It's Pie and Beer Day, everybody. For those of you not living in Utah, you don't get to celebrate Pie and Beer Day the way we do. I mean, you could have pie and you could have beer.
But it's not going to be for the pioneers.
Yeah. Technically, it's Pioneer Day.
Yeah.
But it's better when it's Pie and Beer Day.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes it better.
Yay.
So, there we go. So we'll be talking about the Mormon pioneers, the progenitors of Pioneer Day.
And this fair state.
And this fine state of ours. This overly hot state of ours.
Dan, and what is up with the humidity?
It's just wilty out there.
What is up with that?
We're dying here,
This is not a humid
people.
place.
Send
and it
cold.
is humid.
To our Canadian listeners, send cold quickly.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. Isn't that usually where our cool air comes from?
Yeah, probably.
The north?
Some Arctic something or other.
Yeah.
Nah. All right. Well, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a story here I want to share with you.
Oh, you had me at hello.
I didn't say hello.
Oh.
This is okay. So, did you ever, like, when you were a kid, do you remember those, like, the church would organize a big fast for some issue or some, maybe somebody was sick and,
Sure.
sister so-and-so's in the hospital.
Right.
Everybody's going to fast on the 21st. And
The call chain goes out.
yeah,
Sure.
And everybody skips a meal or two
And
prays
donates.
and blah, blah, blah. And donates.
Sure.
So anyways, so fasting, it's kind of this thing. It's how you get your way with God, right? You go without a couple meals.
Right.
God goes, oh, they're serious about this thing they're asking for.
Oh, I always thought that what it was that you created an empty space in your stomach that resonates better. And then your prayer, like it builds up more energy in that empty space and then goes shooting to heaven.
Power of fasting stomach.
That's the prayer.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there is a Christian group that is planning a quote unquote fast.
Oh.
And that will be important in a minute.
Okay.
In opposition to same-sex marriage.
Oh. Well, yeah.
But so it's the
Wait a minute.
Virginia-based Family Foundation.
I think I see where these quotes are leading us. I haven't read the story, but I've got a guess. We'll see if I'm right.
No, don't ruin it for me.
Okay.
So they're getting ready. They've called everybody. They're saying, okay, we're going to fast for 40 days. Well, it's 40 days of prayer, fasting, and repentance
Okay.
for marriage
Oh, right.
from August 27th through October 5th, 2014. And so
Seems
the whole point
arbitrary,
is
but-
no. It's the last day is just before the Supreme Court begins their session. So this is
I see.
right. And it's fasting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can eat.
Oh, good.
You're allowed to eat. It's
sort of it's like slant rhyme in poetry. You don't have to actually rhyme. You can just not do that.
yeah.
It's the kind of fasting where you don't fast.
It's the fasting where you can eat.
Oh, see, I was secretly hoping that you were going to say that it was a sexual fast.
Oh, no. Although that is part of it.
That everyone was supposed to stop having sex for that time until to try and tell God, hey, we believe in not butt sex. Or whatever.
Yeah, they their invitation is sort of a mock prescription. It has a little RX on it.
Oh yeah,
It says patient name, the Church of the Living God.
Okay.
Date prescribed, yesterday, today, and forever.
Oh.
And it goes through, it's take my holy remedy 3 times a day for 40 days. Begin treatment on August 27th. Okay.
Is that covered under Obamacare? Can I?
Because this
Can I?
Can we charge this to the government?
What's the copay on the Church of the Ever-Loving God, or whatever it is?
This prescription may be repeated as needed for the moral and spiritual health of the entire body.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And warning and side effects. Patients will need to rest from worldly, fleshly activity. May experience fine-tuning of hearing and ability to discern, clarity of vision, an increase in spiritual appetite, and bouts of fervent prayer. And
Also may cause...
dispense as written, signed, the Great Physician.
Oh, I'm going to call myself the Great Physician from now on.
Oh, and there's no generic substitutions allowed.
But
these people are cute. This is cute.
Yeah.
What a cute idea.
It is so cute. I'm going to do it just because of the cuteness. I'm going to participate in this fasting but eating. I really am. I'm going to continue eating.
They probably heard about the Muslims and that during Ramadan they really only have to fast when the sun's up.
Yeah, but they're not even doing
they're
that.
cheating. They're cheating.
Right. Hey, if they can cheat, you know what we can do? We can also cheat.
Yeah.
That's what we can do.
Our religion is less sucky than theirs. So clearly we must be able to eat while we fast.
And also, by the way, I'm going to participate in the praying without prayer portion of it.
Repentance without penitence.
Right. I'm going to not sin while sinning. And I think I'm going to also believe in God without believing in him.
Fornicate while not fornicating. That's a good one.
Yummy.
Hey, God, I'm just following this whole fasting pattern.
I believe in the version of abstinence where you don't abstain. It's sort of my thing right now, where I abstain from sex by having as much of it as I want, whenever I want, with whomever I want.
What's important is that I have a prayer in my heart while I'm screwing this person.
Right? That's what's important, right? You guys, are you sure?
I feel Jesus' presence.
Right, exactly. Or what I do is I'm having sex, and then I'm like midway, right in the middle of it, I go, "This isn't happening. I'm not doing this."
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah. And then I don't
know
and then I don't call on God when I finish. It's not oh God. It's just oh good. Oh good. Oh good. It's happening.
Good.
Oh my good. Oh good. Oh good.
Oh, that must be what Christian sex is like.
I want it to be in my heart.
Do you think they call
hearts.
out "Oh God"? Some of them have to.
Yeah, they do.
I
mean they
just a
still
given.
say "Oh my God" and stuff.
Some do. Some don't.
Some don't. Mormons don't.
Mormons do.
I don't know.
What do Mormons yell out during sex?
I don't think they yell out anything. I think Mormons have boring sex.
They just kind of clench their teeth, and
I think most Mormons. Well, the women do.
Yeah.
The men enjoy it, but they don't really look at the woman because they're thinking of someone else the whole time.
Yeah.
And that someone ain't Jesus.
No, it's not. It's
Joseph, man. Joseph. Oh, Joseph.
Everybody just calls out Joseph.
Joseph. Oh, my Joseph. Joseph H. Smith. Okay. We'll just keep going.
That's silly.
I'm going to Italy. You've been to Italy.
I love Italy. It's one of my favorite things.
They've got one or two priests there. I don't know if you noticed this while you were in Italy, in your time in Italy. Did you notice that there's a Catholic presence in Italy?
Is that what that was?
Yeah, those funny outfits and whatever.
Oh, I thought that was just because they're very fashionable.
You thought they were musicians?
That or just, Italians are very fashionable
That's
people.
true.
And, see some people dressed all in black. That's really common.
Priestly robes are so in this season. Anyway, there was a priest there, Father Stefano Maria Cavaletti, who he was arrested at a party.
Dear God.
He had drugs. Now,
like prescription drugs?
No, like cocaine.
Oh.
Now here's the thing. He claims that
He was just holding him for a friend.
This well just goes deeper and deeper. He claims that he was using the drugs to self-medicate because he was depressed lately.
Okay.
And I believe that he was depressed lately, having been recently found guilty last year of defrauding an elderly woman of about $34,000, her life savings.
Who is this guy?
He's a priest.
I mean, you said his name and that he's a priest, but like,
Just some priest in Milan.
Oh, in Milan.
Mm-hmm. He's in the north. He allegedly tried to flush the cocaine down a toilet when the police came, as well as his passport, which he tried to rip up because he didn't want them to know who he was. But they found it.
Huh. Well, all right.
Just goes to show you, priests aren't all perfect. Most of them are. But not all of them.
Why? What's funny is that it should be a story, right?
Yeah.
But this day and age, priests up to no good. Man, all right.
It's just like
Moving on.
Was there anything funny about it? Then I don't care. I just love that he actually said to the police, "I've been depressed. I have to have the cocaine."
Yeah, that's well, the things people say to police. Do they really think these things are going to work?
Right.
Like, do they ever? Like, is there ever the time where the police are like, "Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I think we can make room for that. I think, you know what? I'm going to give you a pass on this one.
Yeah.
You defrauded an elderly woman and got caught. Of course that's depressing. Of course you're going to be depressed if that's what you did."
All right. Well, I want to play a little game, Dan.
Ooh, you love
the little games.
You love the games.
I love the games. So, are you familiar with Google Suggest? What that is?
Yeah, it's you type a thing into Google,
so
and
when you type in exactly. You go to the Google search thing, you start typing in a couple words, and then Google has like a list of the most common things that follow that in searches, right?
So, like, if I typed in, I'm going to Google right now. If I typed in "thank God,"
what starts to come up?
Oh, look! Thank God I'm atheist.
Really?
Well, it's one of them.
Okay, well that's cool.
Yeah.
What else?
Also, thank God it's Friday.
Exactly. Right.
And
just comes up with whatever the most frequent things are that are associated with that phrase, right?
Right.
That normally complete that phrase. So, some people pulled together, and they're saying that this reveals the internet's religious stereotypes, right?
Yeah.
And so, since people use the internet, it actually is not the internet stereotypes; it's the people who are doing all this searching. And so, all of these phrases will begin with "why are," and then a religious group, and then I want you to come up with the word or words that follow that. So I'm going to say, why are agnostics?
Okay.
And the next, the top result is hated.
Oh,
That's my example. Okay. Why are agnostics hated? And sometimes they're multiple phrases or multiple words. So
sure.
If a phrase springs to mind, no typing on your keyboard, no cheating. Okay? Hands up. Why are Anglicans? And complete the phrase, please, Dan.
Homosexual.
So liberal. Why are atheists
so angry?
There you go.
We're mad. I'm so mad.
Why are the Baha'i you won't get this one.
Wearing shoes?
Persecuted in Iran.
Oh, no.
Hey, people, that's good. These people who are searching about Baha'i are informed about Baha'i.
Right, because most people don't even know that Baha'i exists.
Yeah. Other ones that come up for that one are, though, why are Baha'i leaving the faith? Why Baha'i is wrong.
Why Baha'i?
Why Baha'i? Why are Baptists?
Why are Baptists? Why are Baptists? Oh gosh, that one's a tough one.
Why are Baptists?
I want to say leaving The church.
So strict.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the other ones have nothing about leaving. Against dancing, wrong, and against drinking. So there's Baptists are against things. Apparently.
Right. Well, obviously.
This is a good one. Why are Buddhists?
Oh, why are Buddhists? Why are Buddhists drunk all the time? No.
Killing Muslims in Burma.
Oh, well, that's
again informed.
a great question, actually.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Why are Catholic
priests still raping?
countries so poor?
Oh.
No, I'm not a fan.
Oh, that is sad.
Why are Catholic churches closing? Why are Catholic priests celibate?
They're not.
And why are Catholic schools important?
It's good questions.
This one's fun. Why are Christians?
Such douchebags?
I'm gonna ding ding ding.
Oh, really?
So mean. I will give you a point for that one. Wow. Okay.
I went to a Baha'i temple once.
Did you really?
I did. In Delhi. In New Delhi.
I drove past their national headquarters in Anchorage.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Why are evangelicals
Made of cheese.
so hateful,
Oh, okay.
so dumb, Republican, and so crazy?
Those are fair questions.
Why are Episcopalians?
Well, now we're back to because we had the
Anglicans.
All right. Why are Episcopalians? It's not so liberal, but it's because that was the Anglicans, but it's something similar to that. Why are Episcopalians so nice?
Rich.
Oh,
Yeah.
fancy.
Oh, this is a good one. Why are Hasidics?
why are Hasidics? Not why do Hasidics?
What? Well, they've all been a YR.
Why are Hasidics? Why are Hasidics dressed in black?
So rude.
Oh,
The other one that comes up is afraid of dogs.
wow.
Let's see.
Wow.
I'm gonna skip down.
So I think what we've learned from that is that if a Hasidic Jew is being rude to you, bark at him.
Yeah, absolutely.
See what I'm saying? See what I went there?
I've scrolled down to why are Mormons?
Oh, okay. Why are Mormons
Think about stereotypes.
not allowed to drink? Polygamist? Why are Mormons wearing bad shoes?
So nice.
Oh, that's true.
So weird is the second one. Families so big. And why are Mormons so hot?
Oh,
Was also on the list.
wow. Hi, Mormons.
Let's see. Why are pagans?
Why are pagans? How about just why are pagans? Why are pagans still around?
Why are pagans fat?
What? Is that a thing? I didn't know that was a thing.
Why are Pentecostals
Why are Pentecostals loud?
fat?
They're fat too.
I guess. I don't know. So judgmental, so crazy, and so weird.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. And the rest. Oh, I wanted to. Oh, this is interesting. Why are Presbyterians
Underfunded.
called the Frozen Chosen?
Oh,
Have you heard that?
no,
I've never
but
heard
it
that
makes
either.
sense because aren't they in the U.S. largely up in the like Minnesota area?
You might be
and
right
stuff?
about that. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that's our fun little quizzy quiz for today.
That is so weird.
And notice how, it exposed the deep, dark stereotypes of your soul, Dan.
Yeah, exactly. Why are atheists so angry?
Why are atheists so angry? So rude, so hated. Why are atheists smarter?
Oh,
Was the fourth one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. It's Google reveals much. I'm not sure what it all is, what it all means, but Google has its finger on something.
Numbers don't lie, Dan.
Numbers, also Google searches don't lie.
They don't.
Also, the internet.
I trust Google
implicitly.
Always.
With your life.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as soon as their cars start driving.
Right. Then we definitely will be trusting them with our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to talk to you about an article popped onto the HuffPo recently that was it's interesting. It's about countries of the world and their heads of state. Specifically, 15% of the world's countries, which amounts to 30 different countries.
Okay.
In the world, where there are religious requirements to be head of state in 15 different countries.
Okay.
Many of them are required. So there are actually a couple of really interesting ones. Many in the Middle East, you won't be surprised to learn,
right?
Require that their head of state be Muslim. You cannot be head of state we're talking
something else.
Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, and Mauritania. Those are the African ones.
Now, is there any risk that their head of state might not be Muslim?
Well,
seems like a fairly useless law, if you ask me.
I'll tell you one thing. You know what surprised me?
What?
A Muslim cannot be the head of state of Lebanon.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Head of state of Lebanon has to be a certain sect of Christian.
What?
Yeah, it's a member of the Maronite Christian Church.
Well, that's interesting.
I apparently know nothing about anything because I had no idea on that point. That shocked me.
Wow.
However, the surrounding states, Syria, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Qatar, Oman, Yemen, all have Muslim heads of state.
Very interesting.
There are a couple that require Buddhism, Bhutan and Thailand.
Okay.
You have to be Buddhist.
Nope. Must be.
In order to be head of state.
Have to.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
No choice in the matter.
Compulsory.
It is compulsory. There are some states, interestingly, where you're not allowed to be clergy and be head of state.
Interesting.
Which I think is actually sort of the better way to go, obviously.
Yeah. Were there any states that require their head of state to be Christian?
Well, Lebanon was
besides
one of them.
that one.
And Andorra.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of weird.
I don't know where that is.
Andorra is a tiny... It's European, and it's tiny. It's like next to Spain, I think.
Huh.
It's like this little guy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty good with the geography. That's... Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And here's an interesting thing, though. Of the countries that require that the head of state not be clergy, where do you think they mostly are? What part of the world would you put them? Because they're kind of clustered.
Not be clergy. They cannot be clergy.
Right.
I really don't know. I'm going to just take a wild stab.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I'm going to say... Well, no, that doesn't make any sense. Well, I was going to say South America.
You're pretty close. I mean, Central and South America. So Bolivia, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Venezuela.
Okay. And the only thought there was that they
Burma,
were like
for no
founded
reason.
by... I had this idea of like Spanish missionaries, so there might have been some resentment. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, really interesting stuff.
I don't know. Okay. Huh.
I don't know. I just and then there's also sort of the weird thing about like there are countries that have a ceremonial head of state that doesn't count. Like Queen Elizabeth is technically the head of the Anglican Church.
Absolutely.
Or they own her. She is their little bitch. Yeah. But she's not an actual head of state. She's a ceremonial head of state. She's referred to as the defender of the faith.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've heard that.
And if you go to any Anglican, any Church of England church that's on the royal property, the Queen, for instance, there's a chapel inside of the Tower of London.
Oh, really?
And if you go to that chapel, A, pro tip, you'll get into the Tower of London for free.
Right.
And B, you will sing God Save the Queen at the end of
nice.
the service.
Is there a figure of the Queen anywhere?
No.
A relic?
Yes, they cut off one of her fingers and put it in a box.
Nice.
It's nice. Yes, she has. It's a little known fact that the reason she wears gloves is because they're stuffed with faux fingers because she doesn't have any left. I don't know if people know that about her.
I was thinking maybe just like a lock of hair or something.
We do not give our locks to anyone.
All right. Well, I've got one last story for you.
Okay.
It's been hot in this country.
Jesus Christ.
It's been a little bit. It's July.
Temperatures
are raging.
Can I just say, I mean, we already talked about the weather, which we hate doing on our show because it's not the kind of show where we just sit and ramble. At least we try not to let it be. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember a summer where I felt this shitty going outside.
Yeah.
I usually like to go outside in the summer, even when it's really hot, and sit in the shade maybe, but I love being outside. But this summer, man, I just go out there and I'm like, good.
Well, it's the added humidity.
Yeah.
I really don't know I would love for a climatologist or somebody to chime in on this fact.
To explain why
Utah
humid in Salt Lake City
is all of a sudden a humid place. Well,
Yeah.
Salt Lake City, I mean, we're in the desert.
Yeah.
Why is our desert turned humid?
Yeah,
That's what
usually
I wanna know.
our heat, we can at least say it's a dry heat, so
Right.
it's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's over 100 degrees, and it's just killing us.
I know. Well, it's also hot and very humid in Tennessee,
Okay.
where there has been a rash of air conditioners being stolen
Oh, dear.
from rural Tennessee churches.
Oh, no! Shame on everyone.
Aww. And this is the punchline.
Uh-huh.
While they may be getting a respite from the heat today,
Uh-huh.
they will face hellfire for eternity. According to Bill Castile, an elder at Union Grove Church of Christ in Cleveland, which is located in southeast Tennessee.
I got news for that guy, actually.
Mm-hmm.
What Bill's not realizing is they face hellfire now. Those bitches are just going to steal that shit and then repent. And then no hellfire.
Yeah. All they have to do is accept Jesus. Now, it turns out they probably are, I'm adding this to the whole story, some sort of meth head because of the amount of scrap metal and copper which can be retrieved from these units.
Yeah, but that's not half as valuable as, like, feeling good.
They're not going home and hooking them up.
Oh, yeah, they are.
You think so?
It's just a nightmare out there. They're putting it in their own window.
Well, the authorities are saying they're being scrapped, most likely.
Oh.
These aren't window AC units. These would be large commercial.
Okay.
I mean, you could play freeze out.
Right.
In the middle of summer if you wanted to.
Sure.
Did you ever play freeze out as a kid?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm surprised that in a cold place, maybe that's why it's a cold place like Utah. In moderately cold places like where I grew up, in the winter, we would play freeze out where we weren't allowed to put our little windbreakers on.
Oh.
And we would roll the windows down in the car as we were like speeding along in the middle of the winter. And whoever like gave up first lost. Whoever got cold.
It's a game
lost.
of frostbite chicken.
Freeze out. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think you can do that here because you actually
would die.
There are health risks at that point. Like if
You could do it in the fall.
you could do it in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. A nice blustery October or November evening or something.
Yeah. So so no freeze out here. But you
Okay.
could play freeze out in your home with one of these things.
Yeah. That's what
know.
you're getting at.
That's what I was getting.
Yeah, okay.
You could just all get in your house, strip down, turn on the unit
Right.
in the middle of summer, and whoever has to go running out first because they're cold
You know, I just feel like
loses.
well, that's an interesting point. So, how much if a church said, "You know what? We're going to keep doing church. We've got this incredibly gifted pastor. He's fantastic. Everybody loves him.
Right.
But we're not going to do the AC anymore." I wonder how much patronage they would get. Probably nothing. There'd be like 4 stoic old people who are like, I can go to anything.
Well, they'd have to tie the heat into their theology somehow.
Right.
Like if they could actually say that,
God guaranteed you can find some scripture.
The heat.
You can find some scripture that says something about like not using
comfort at church.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd find something.
You should not be comforted while worshiping or something.
Right. And if you have trouble finding anything, go to the Jews. They got rules coming out of their ass. You could find they'll help you find a way to make it not okay to have air conditioning.
That would be a horrible, horrible sect. One that does not believe in air conditioning.
Well, I was thinking about that. You think about it's Pioneer Day today here in Utah.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think about those fucking Mormons coming here in their 12 layers of clothes.
Oh, I know.
Tilling the soil.
No, I know.
Out in the noonday sun.
Oh.
That's just crazy talk.
Pantaloons and petticoats.
Right.
And, yeah.
Right. Sleeve length everything.
Yeah. Ruffles and
they had the magic underwear that Mormons wore was much bigger than it is now.
Yeah.
And probably made of something horrible.
Probably not very accommodating, if you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean.
With because they have like mesh fabrics now that you can get that are, you can. It's garments to beat the heat.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
No.
This is just another layer
wool.
of wool, or exactly. Cotton. If they're
wool underwear,
lucky.
everyone.
The rich ones get the cotton or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're growing cotton in the Salt Lake Valley. So
indeed, no.
Wow. Well, there you go. Beat the heat, or rather, beat the Christians at their own game. Maybe it's atheists going out and stealing their.
That would be rude, and I would admonish them.
Yeah, I would as well. It's obviously not atheists. Actually, we just don't do that sort of thing.
We don't.
That's not our tactic.
No.
We get snarky.
No.
Our tactic is snark.
Yes.
That's how we do.
We outwit you.
That is how the atheists do. It doesn't work, but that's how we do.
We're still wildly unpopular.
Right. We send our snarkiest people onto the Bill O'Reilly show, and then wonder why everyone doesn't love us yet.
And our team of lawyers have somehow not helped us be liked yet.
Yeah, it's so weird. So weird. I don't get it. Well, here's another story that's actually about another atheist group that people don't like, the FFRF. I mean, we like them. We like the FFRF, but the Christians don't like the FFRF because they're always filing lawsuits and whatnot.
Rude.
The Freedom from Religion Foundation, headquartered in Madison, Wisconsin, they had filed a suit back in 2012. They filed this suit asserting. They don't have to assert. It's very clear. This suit was about all of the religious organizations, the nonprofit religious organizations that have flouted the law by openly and brazenly endorsing or condemning political candidates.
Oh, yeah.
Now, in the U.S. tax code, according to an Internal Revenue Service the IRS website, these are 501c3 organizations, nonprofit groups, is what that means. Who don't have to pay taxes.
That is correct.
But one of the rules of being exempt from taxation is that they cannot, quote, let's see, they are absolutely prohibited from directly or indirectly participating in or intervening in any political campaign on behalf or in opposition to any candidate for elective public office. This prohibition applies to all campaigns, including campaigns at the federal, state, and local level. Violations of this prohibition may result in denial or revocation of tax-exempt status and the imposition of certain excise taxes.
Dear God.
So you would think that would be a harrowing thing for a church.
You would just steer clear.
You would just avoid it like the plague, because
clearly that's what a rational human being would do.
Except that they're so rational that they noticed that the IRS was not enforcing this rule at all.
No.
Not in the least. To the point where, I don't know if you remember, but in the last elections, In the last couple of elections, there have been groups of churches who have, in order to say that this is not constitutional and blah, 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 and we have the right to stand up and say whatever we want, they organized a thing where preachers actually did this purposefully from the pulpit to thumb their nose at the IRS.
Yeah.
And the IRS still didn't do jack shit. So, the FFRF sued, and the judge agreed because it basically all the FFRF was saying was, "Hey, look, they're doing it," and they said, "Yeah, we're doing it," and then this judge has agreed that they're doing it, and now the IRS has claimed that they are going to be pursuing this.
Ah, well, good for them.
Yeah. This it's very nice. It would be interesting to see if they actually follow through. But I mean, now it would appear that the law might actually have some bite to it, might actually have some teeth to it.
Okay.
We'll inform you guys when we hear of any church actually losing its tax exempt status.
Oh, I hope so.
But wouldn't that be great? So. I mean, it would be a ton. I mean, technically, and it wouldn't just be conservative churches either. I mean, I went to the Unitarian Universalist Church here in Salt Lake a few times and definitely heard talk over the pulpit about liberal and conservative. I mean, in favor of liberal things and opposed to conservative things there. So they could run afoul of it.
But is it candidates or issues?
It's candidates.
If you're talking about an issue, a church can take a side.
Yeah, but if you're talking about an issue and then you happen to
point out
slip
who's
in
for it and who's against it,
and that dumb Orrin Hatch said blah blah blah, you could be in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So
no names.
Right.
Don't mention names.
Right. Exactly. Right. Anyone who comes into our country and sets up an Obamacare-like system is clearly bad. I'm not saying anybody specific,
right?
But if they were to do this, set up a system like that, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, they'll still be able to say basically everything they want to say, but they won't be able to endorse or decry a specific candidate. And you'll be shocked to learn that they are very upset about this. These churches.
They are?
What? Pastors should get to decide what they preach from the pulpit, not the IRS.
Oh my God! Oh,
said senior legal counsel Eric Stanley. It's outrageous for pastors and churches to be threatened or punished by the government for applying biblical teachings to all areas of life, including candidates and elections. The question is, who should decide the content of sermons, pastors or the IRS?
I think the IRS should. Riveting sermons from the IRS.
Can you imagine? Boy, nobody would go to church if the IRS.
Please see instructions on page 8.
Please open your hymnal to page 532, section 3, subparagraph I, in which we will read. Heretofore, the undermentioned, hereafter known as.
Sounds like church.
Sounds kind of like church.
All right. Well, if you'd like to chime in on this or any other story in this week's episode.
People haven't been chiming as much lately. People have been deciding that they don't need to participate in our show.
Maybe we've been boring and people don't have anything to.
Or maybe we're so wildly engaging that they just think, I couldn't possibly have anything to add to that.
I don't think that's what it is.
Well, whatever it is, if you want to write into us, you can totally do it. And one of the ways to do that is to email podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could call us on your telephone.
Using telephony.
Dial 424-666-8442.
Sure. Just leave us a voicemail. We'll listen to you. Or you can go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and just click like.
Yeah.
Don't even think about it. Just click like.
Follow us on Twitter.
Oh,
getting
yeah.
lots of new followers.
Yeah.
So I need to start following through.
Yeah, you need to
and that's
tweet.
also at TGI Atheist.
Have you enabled Twitter to push notifications to you?
To twat.
To
at me.
twat at you.
Mm-hmm.
And then go to our blog also. That's thankgodimatheist.com.
All right, we're going to take a quick-ish break.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to learn how to make holy water and why one would want to make holy water.
We're trying to educate you people.
This is not the only recipe for holy water. There are many ways to make holy water. This is just one way. It's the way I do it, and I would like to share that with you. What you need is a cup of water. You will need about a tablespoon of coarse sea salt and a jar in which to store it. I like to use a mason jar because it preserves it a little bit longer. This holy water doesn't last but a few days. However, it's cheap enough to make. First of all, why would you want holy water? Sea salt and water. Water is the universal solvent. Sea salt transmutes negative energy. So basically, by combining these two, you have a synergy, or a cauldron magic, if you will, of transmuting negative energy and dissolving it. You can sprinkle it around your home. You could sprinkle it on your crystals, on your holy objects, on your tools, and on yourself and on people. The first thing you want to do is bless everything. And what you would do is make the solar cross, which goes north, south, west to east. I bless thee in the name of what's good and holy and right and true. And imagine the light going from your crown chakra to your heart, out of your the chakra centers in your palms of your hand. So the light travels from here down to the heart and out. And you're charging it up and infusing the water with light. So mote it be. The word affirms it. You could say blessed be. You could say amen. We like to say so mote it be. Then you take the coarse sea salt and you say, I bless thee in the name of what's good and holy and right and true. So mote it be. We have the white light come from through our crown chakra to our heart and out through our shoulders and out through our palms of our hands. And you'll know when the energy stops flowing. You'll feel it. Good. So mote it be, and so it is. Then you take something that you stir. I like to use wood. And you pour the coarse sea salt into the water, and you stir and allow it to dissolve. And when you've got that pretty well dissolved, you have to charge it and bless it again. I bless thee in the name of what's good and holy and right and true, and call upon what's good and holy and right and true to bless and infuse this with the love and light and peace and goodness. There we go. And you'll know when the energy is done flowing out of your hands, so mote it be. I like to store it in a mason jar. Like I said, it keeps it for a little bit longer. You don't have to. You can store it in your favorite pitcher. You can store it, you could keep it in the bowl. And then I like to date it. And when you're done with it, dispose of it reverently upon the earth where it won't hurt any animals, or perhaps in a stream, but be environmentally responsible. And there you have your holy water. Thank you for watching. I'm Marianne. Be magical at underworldclassroom.com.
So mote it be.
Make sure that when you dispose it, you put this water and salt somewhere where it will not hurt animals.
Right. Because God forbid, boy, if some bunny
Came along.
death. That is bunny death. So mote it be.
Cute death, but
I just had to look up so mote it be.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was just like, what the fuck is she talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently pagans and like Wiccans are using that right now.
That's all the rage.
It doesn't seem to have pagan like origins at all.
Oh, really?
No, it like comes from like so mote, M-O-T-E, apparently is a Saxon verb that just means must.
So must it be?
So must it be, or so let it be. And apparently it was used by the Freemasons.
Oh. Okay.
And they just took it from the Freemasons. So mote it be.
The Scottish Rite.
So yeah. Now we all know how to make salt water. But if you wave your hands around a lot.
There wasn't a lot of gesticulation. She put her hands next on both sides of the Pyrex measuring cup, which is what it was.
Right.
She called it a bowl at one point. No, it's a Pyrex thing. And we learned something about mason jars.
They keep the magic in.
They keep the magic in.
And and we just Frank and I decided that should be Mason Jar's like corporate motto. Mason jars.
Keep the magic in.
Keep the magic in.
Yes.
Well,
she's just a delight, this woman.
Oh yeah.
She's got
most of her
tons
videos
of certifications hanging on the wall behind her.
Oh yeah, she's
legit.
Doctor of crystallology.
She's got some sort of. Is that a crystal ball? No, it's not crystal. It's some kind of. I don't know what that ball is.
Don't you have a crystal ball?
I have a salt ball.
So mote it be.
Yeah, my brother and his wife one year at, I think it was Christmas, gave me one of those salt balls that you've seen at the mall probably somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And it has a little light in it, and it's a natural ionizer.
Right.
Or deionizer.
Because that means something.
You want. And so it cleans the air naturally. You warm up the salt rock, and it cleans the air.
Using ions.
Yes.
Because ions is a science word that no one knows what it means. So you can just throw it out there, and then who's going to argue with you?
You don't have to dust as often.
Have you noticed that to be the case?
It's hard to tell, to be honest.
Well, there you go.
I would love for it to be true.
I love the idea.
I would love for that to be a fact. You plug in a piece of a little light bulb, put it into a salt rock, and you don't have to dust as often.
That would
Isn't
be great.
That amazing?
Where does the dust go?
The ions.
Into the ions.
The ions carry it away.
Into the ionosphere.
They whisk it away.
Into the dusty ionosphere.
You have to leave a crack. You have to leave a window cracked open.
Right, yeah. Otherwise, how does it escape? Where does it go? I'll tell you where it goes. Right back onto your furniture.
But it also helps sort of the general... it keeps the bad juju away.
Yeah, you know what it does is it cleanses the energy of the house.
It does, and that's why I like to turn it on. I actually plug it in just because it glows nice. I have no problem with the glowy.
It's
glow.
pretty.
Yeah, why not?
It's like a little orangey sort of yellowy glow.
The real problem, if I had to pick a problem that I had with it, is that it is a little hippy dippy.
It's very hippy dippy,
and
it's
as people
hippy-dippy.
start seeing those around more and more and more, which was strange. They bought it at the Arrowhead Mall in Muskogee.
Oh, weird.
Which just, I don't know why they were selling these in Muskogee, but whatever. But more and more, I don't want to. I mean, if more people know what it is and how hippy dippy it is, I don't really want it sitting on the shelf in my living room.
Because you don't want people to associate you with that?
I don't want to be
You know what?
hippy-dippy.
Just everyone that walks through your door, just say, it cleanses your toxins.
You are cleansed now.
Be cleansed.
The fact of the matter
so
is,
mote it be.
most of my friends are sort of atheist or at least some kind of claim agnostic of some kind.
Right.
But I have to say, there's a good portion of them who also, they're not quite where you and I are at.
Right.
With the whole, like, we don't, the weird energy shit just drives us nuts.
Right.
Most of my friends, I would say, have a space in their lives for that.
For a something.
Something.
Right.
And so they wouldn't think I'm nuts.
Right. Which you want them to think you're nuts. What you want is for them to go...
I would want them to see that and go, is Frank okay?
Right. That's a joke, right, Frank? Yes, it's a joke. Okay, fine. Good.
It was a gift from my brother, the same sibling who gave me a lava lamp once.
Aw.
He likes little light things.
He likes
giving them to me. I don't know.
Hippy dippy light things. That's the store in the mall that he went to.
Hippy dippy light things.
I love that.
You didn't meet my brother, right? Yeah.
He was hiding.
He was hiding. Yeah, that's what he and his wife do. They
Yeah.
hide from my parents.
Anyway, we have an email that I literally was a little hesitant to read because we have almost nothing to say about it. I'm going to guess, but I don't know about you.
Okay.
Frank and Dan, hello. This is from Beth.
Okay. Hi, Beth.
Hello from the Christian nation of North Dakota. In parentheses, she says, seriously, shoot me.
Yeah.
Might you two delightful gents have a recommendation for a primer on atheism for very Lutheran and very horrified parents to read? It's a personal failure for them that 17 years of religious indoctrination didn't stick. They're awfully hung up on the idea that they need my husband, their son, to have faith in something, anything,
Right.
as long as it's faith. We couldn't really get them to articulate why or what they felt it provides that a life of simply striving to be a good person doesn't. Their exuberant and oh-so-closeted pastor has them thinking that they receive balanced and factual insights during their Bible study, including such gems as, quote, most scientists are starting to agree that the universe has a maker. Anyway, she says, we've read Dawkins and Hitchens standards, but are looking for something a little gentler for his mom, who expressed interest in hearing more about our perspective. Thank you for your time and weekly podcast gold. Well, you're welcome,
Yeah.
Beth, for the weekly podcast gold.
Yeah.
We do what we can.
Yeah. As far as parents in a book,
I haven't seen it. I mean, and granted, I am not well versed on the literature,
right?
which is why I didn't really want to read this, but I wanted to put it out into the
Well, maybe one of our listeners
into
has,
the podcast verse.
encountered the perfect book.
And I think it's got to be out there, right? And if it's not, we should write something.
Yeah.
You and I.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, basically, the thing is that it is really scary for religious parents to hear that their son or daughter has abandoned their faith because they haven't even considered that possibility, and they don't, it's so there should be something out there that's just like a brochure even. It's just like, so your child has left the church.
So your child is going to hell.
Right.
Why you shouldn't care.
Why that's okay. Why you can love them anyway.
How to love your hell-bound child.
Right.
6 easy steps.
Can I still invite them to my house? Yes. Surprisingly, no one will hurt you if you invite them to
They
your
will
house.
not drag your entire house to hell.
Yeah, I wish so you listeners out there, if you have a resource that is good, and here's what I would say we don't want. What we don't want is anything that's going to say you Christians are stupid for believing what you're believing.
No. That's
and
not.
we
That's not the
atheists
point
are so
at
smart.
all. It's explaining. What I would say is it needs to be something that explains that your child is still the person that you raised them to be.
Right.
All those moral lessons that you worked so hard to instill, they probably are going to follow a number of them.
They
They may
most moral
modify
ones.
them.
Right.
They may
They may not believe in your rules about sex.
right
Or
right.
your rules about drinking, or your rules
Exactly.
about whatever.
But the ones that are truly about human comportment,
Comportment's good.
yeah, toward others,
Those are
good.
Those are universal.
Those are universal.
You do not have to worry about those.
You're
Unless
fine.
your kid was a sociopath anyway.
Right.
Which then it doesn't matter if they're religious or not.
And the whole stealing, blah blah blah. Your kids are gonna do good, right?
They're going
the
to
good
be-
that you taught them.
They're going to be whoever they were going to be anyway.
The do's are probably going to be held on to. The don'ts are probably going to be rejected.
Right. Yeah.
Your prescriptions of things probably.
Your rules.
But the teachings of going and doing good and being a good person,
taking care of others.
that's all that should stick. That's the message.
That's
right.
Yes, exactly.
That we're looking for.
Right. Or have them listen to this podcast because we're doing great here. We're doing fantastic. I'm really going to pat myself on the shoulder on this one.
Well, we should.
But no, I see the need. The need is there. So listeners, if you have something, send it in to us. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com, and we'll love to take a look at that. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I don't know. We'll make a video or something.
Your child While you think they're going to hell.
You're actually wrong. It's you that's not going to heaven. Congratulations.
Aww. That misses the point as well.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's like what do my kids believe now? Don't worry about that.
Right.
They don't have a belief
Right.
related to God.
Right.
They choose to opt out of that.
And what to do about their children.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't indoctrinate.
Yes.
You will anger
That is
them.
not your business.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, exactly. Mind your business. What do I do with my grandkids? Give them fun treats and mind your business.
Spoil them.
Take them to the park and mind your business.
Yeah.
Go to an amusement park. Go to the zoo.
Let their parents set the rules
Right.
for their children.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Moving right along. We don't have any voicemail to play.
No, not
Were there
particularly.
donors, Dan?
You know what? My email's giving me trouble. I don't think so.
Okay.
I've been so if there are new donors out there, I apologize, but
Something's funky with the email.
something's funky with my email, and I got to sort that out. But
we'll have that fixed by next week.
right,
Hopefully.
but
No promises.
But I don't think that there were any new donors this week, and if there weren't, shame on you, all of you people.
That's the best way to get new donors,
Right?
Dan.
No shaming. It's really good.
Yeah.
I always feel shame when like public radio comes on with their thing. I'm like, I guess I really should give. But it's like, it's the worst feeling. Like, they keep trying to energize me and make me feel good about giving, but really all it does is like depress me. And I do give, not every time, but I do give sometimes. But
Who can give every time?
right, it's ridiculous. But it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm sorry, you guys. Jeez.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to what we wanted to talk about today, which is inspired by the fact that it is Pioneer Day, which is it's kind of a unique-ish thing.
And it's what makes
we have a proper state holiday.
Mm-hmm.
People have the day off. There's parades. There's fireworks.
Yeah.
It's like a national holiday.
It's true. We skipped the parade
Yeah.
to record this with you people.
We did. Yeah.
And it's the
Do you
biggest.
go to the parade?
No,
Dan?
I hate parades.
The days of 47.
I don't understand
parade?
parades at all.
What?
I don't get it. I've said this on the air before.
They're so much fun.
I don't get it.
Everybody's there. You're watching the thing go by. You cheer. They wave. You wave. There's music.
Right.
There's a marching band or two.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's America all bottled up in one little thing, and it's marching down the street.
It's walking past you.
Yeah.
Hi, America.
Yeah. You get a wave at
I'm gonna
America.
wave at you, America. You know that
It's tacky.
this parade
It's
did not allow the Mormons building bridges
Yeah.
to be part of the parade.
Yeah. Because it was political.
Yeah.
They don't see their own politics.
They
and
don't
how they're
s-
promoting their own politics in
Right.
the parade. But somebody who comes along who has differing politics.
Yeah, they're like, we're
then
still
they're,
Mormons.
They're the political ones.
We're just Mormons who like gay people.
Yeah. Nope. Too political.
Too political. You can't march.
Or but anyway, so Pioneer Day.
Although, of all of the things to celebrate with a parade, with people sort of walking and all that stuff through the streets,
Yeah.
Pioneer Day seems kind of makes sense
Well, because the pioneers arrived
as a parade.
kind of as a little parade.
They did.
In the summer of 1847.
Days of 47
On July 24th,
or thereabouts.
Brigham Young
Oh yes,
arrived after his the vanguard. Well, it was the whole train was the vanguard group.
right.
But I think the initial scouts arrived on July 21st.
Yeah.
But so 3 days later, Brigham Young pronounces the famous line. This is the right place.
Sort of. There's some question as to whether he actually said that or not.
He said it, Dan, and there is a monument up by the mouth of Immigration Canyon, a big monument.
Misquoting the possible non-quote.
No, Dan, no. Brigham Young said it,
Okay.
and I believe it.
Okay.
Okay. this what it gets truncated a lot to this is the place.
Right.
Where he was supposedly said this is the right place. But the fact of the matter is, they had already decided that this was going to be the place. A large party of the group had already shown up, had already started doing work, getting ready.
So the reason that that's important is because Mormon folklore has it that they were just sort of wandering aimlessly westward, and then God told Brigham. And on the way, Brigham had a vision of this valley,
what it looked like, a land of milk and honey,
and then and salt water, and so when Brigham showed up and saw this valley, he said, "This is the place.
This is the right place."
Well, that's what he really said, but everybody said. I'm saying the folklore version is that he said, "This is the place."
Yeah.
Even if he had said, "This is the right place," which, by the way, several historians are saying he probably didn't. There's no firsthand account of him ever saying that.
Oh no!
The first time that came up was Wilford Woodruff, like 33 years later or something like that.
So Wilford Woodruff said it 33 years later.
Right.
Fine.
Anyway, but yeah, they all knew that they were coming to here.
Right.
The folklore has it that they were just like they stumbled on it, and then finally, and Brigham said, "Aha! The Lord has led us to the thing." No, the scouts had been there. They all knew that that's where they were going.
Yeah.
So he may have said this is the right place, only because, like, oh yeah, this is what was described to me.
I always like it with a question mark at the end. This is the right place? This?
Are we sure?
This is the right place?
It seems plausible.
No, I see, because I spent a couple years of my childhood in a place called Modesto, California.
A lovely, lovely place.
Lovely town. The little lost piece of Mormon history was told to us because Brigham Young had sent out sort of scouts throughout the West.
Right.
And one of the places that somebody landed was in what became Modesto, California.
Sure.
Or what may have already been Modesto, California. I'm not quite sure when Modesto was formed. But they showed up there and they were like, this is the place.
Oh.
And wrote to Brigham, and they had done sort of they'd gone the other way. They'd gone by boat.
Oh.
To get to California to check out, is there any place in California we might want to settle?
Right.
And this guy was like, right here.
Sure.
And refused to leave. Refused the call to Zion.
Right.
And so there was a little outpost of Mormonism in Modesto, California. And then eventually, I think, I can't remember how long passed, and those folks, packed up and went to Utah. But
the Mormons got here in 47. If they had pressed onwards to California,
Mormonism would have
been the wealthiest religion ever.
Well,
because the gold rush was 49.
But Mormonism, we wouldn't recognize it.
No, it would be totally different.
We would not recognize what it turned into.
Right.
Because the great thing about Utah for the Mormons was that it was isolated.
Right.
They got to be Mormon out here all by their little lonesomes, and they got to be crazy, and Brigham got to run the whole thing.
Yeah, like as a monarch.
Yeah.
This was a theocracy.
Absolutely. And that would not have flown in California.
What's really funny is that they were, when they set out from, Nauvoo, Illinois, essentially.
Right.
They set out to Mexico.
Yeah,
they were
true.
going to Mexico.
Yeah.
And when they got here to Salt Lake City, it was in Mexico.
For the next 7 months, I think.
For a little under a year. And then there was this whole battle with Mexico over annexation of Texas, and suddenly they were back in the United States of America.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
We've made a huge mistake.
Oh, dear. Do we... I wonder, there must have been talk of like, well, do we head south more now? Do we have to go down to where Mexico now is? Or do we stay? But by then they'd already tilled the land.
You can't leave tilled land.
No, they had put down roots.
You can't leave roots.
They'd built their homes.
You can't leave home.
You can't. Well, I mean, they did it already one time. You don't want to do
Once.
that. You don't want to do that twice.
Only once. Well, they did it a couple times.
Well, yeah. I mean, they kind of had a habit of moving
Picking
from
up
place to
and-
place. But they didn't have any neighbors in Utah other than the Native Americans
Yeah.
who were trying to kill them.
But they dispensed of them quickly.
Of the Native Americans?
Mhm.
Well, I mean, what's funny is that even the Native Americans had the good sense to avoid this valley.
Right.
Like
That's true.
they had
They
no...
loved. It was Utah Valley, right? That
It
they
was-
loved.
It was
Utah
yeah,
Lake
and everything's south
Yeah.
because the Great Salt Lake people is called that because it's salt.
Yeah.
You can't drink the water from the major water source next to the Salt Lake
But look,
Valley.
Dan, the east. This is going to be very boring for our listeners, but the east side of this valley was fantastic. It had-
Flowing with rivers.
yeah, all those
Small-
mountain rivers.
They're small rivers.
They're
but-
small rivers, but they were all flowing out of the mountains. They had
Right.
There was fresh water all year
Right.
because of the snowpack.
Right.
And those little rivers flowing out, and they were able to use that and divert those waters, and they were able to irrigate and have agriculture here in the valley. This valley,
You want
right
to know
here.
another interesting, fun little bit of Mormon lore
What?
that's totally not true? There's a whole bunch surrounding what you just said. For instance, there's the one about how there was only one tree in the whole of the Salt Lake Valley.
It was lush. There were wild animals everywhere.
It wasn't that lush, but along the tree banks or along the river banks there were trees.
Yeah.
But there's this thing about like, there's a plaque commemorating
Yeah.
the single cedar
Yeah.
supposedly in the Salt Lake Valley.
No, but Dan,
But
here's
there's also a plaque in downtown Salt Lake City commemorating the fact
right.
that Mormons kind of invented irrigation for farms because they're so clever, you see.
Nobody had ever. Wait a second.
Maybe not taking into effect the
Egyptians?
yeah,
Didn't
and
the Egyptians?
sure, ancient Mayans and like thousands of years of irrigation history completely ignored because of the Mormons who had studied it back east
Right.
before they left.
Oh God, I love it.
These Mormons, can I just point out, by the way, that this is a trek. This is nothing to sneeze at. These people went. I mean, if we talk about all the way from Nauvoo, it's like 1,200 miles that they had to trek.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't start their trek there. They usually went from Nauvoo to a place called Winter Quarters, which is on the eastern side of Nebraska, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they would start their trek from there, but that's even 940 miles
Yeah.
into the Salt Lake Valley,
Jeez.
and they did this. And you correct me if I'm wrong. All with just hand carts.
No, that is wrong.
What?
That's another myth. Dan.
What? What?
Only
I'm outraged.
of the 70,000 or thereabouts pioneers, only about 3,000, was that the number we came up with, actually pulled hand carts coming to the valley.
That's still a lot of people. Now, a hand cart, just to let me plant some images in your heads, folks. So most people were on what were called covered wagons, and I think we all kind of have an image of that. It's basically a big wagon,
Yeah.
on four wheels, two axles,
Yeah.
and a fabric cover over the top.
A tarp.
And you put all your worldly possessions that you can get into that.
Yeah.
And then
And supplies
and
for
it's
the trip.
pulled by horse or oxen. Mm-hmm. And let's go. But the handcart people,
Yeah.
that's some intense shit. Imagine two big wagon wheels,
Yeah.
and then just one little box, a cart on top of that, and a handle thing,
Yeah.
and you just stand in that handle and you just pull it, and you'll walk.
Yeah.
And you're the ox. You're the horse
Wow. Yeah. Well,
for 1,000 miles over the. Well, I mean, most of it was the plains.
I will give those 3,000 people all the credit they are due. But this
Indeed.
is one of the fun facts about today and how Mormons love to go back and relive this moment of their history. They go on trek, right?
Yes, they do.
And they go and they do these. They get dressed in the pioneer garb and they have a little recreation day.
Right.
And
it's like the boring version.
reenactment.
It's like the boring version of the people that reenact the Civil War. Because instead of war, they go for a hike.
Misery.
They go for an awful,
misery.
miserable hike.
The irony is, of course, that there are more people on a given day pulling hand carts than probably actually pulled hand carts during the entire 19th century.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So let's see. What was one of the things? Most common cause of death along the trail. This is what do you think? In your imagination, what were these people dying?
The 1980s school kid in me wants to say dysentery.
Yeah.
Just because of Oregon Trail.
Waterborne type stuff. Disease, cholera, typhoid.
Oh, wow.
Little
Giardia
common.
for fun?
I'm sure it happened.
Sure.
But there's sort of this popular belief that the Native Americans were always attacking and whatnot, right?
Circle the wagons.
Exactly, that whole thing that you've seen in Westerns.
Sure.
They're in a 20-year period when a lot of these, not just the Mormons, but also the Oregon trails were filled with people. The Santa Fe Trail, the California Trail. There were just over 300 total Euro-American deaths due to violent altercations with Native Americans. So not as much as every Western out there would have you believe.
Right.
For Mormons, it was even lower.
Mormons were tended to be fairly clever in their dealings with the natives.
Yeah.
They would. I mean, by the time they really had Utah rocking and rolling, they had good relations with the local populations.
It was with these covered wagons. It was really common for people, especially children, to bounce out of the wagons. Not funny, Dan, actually.
It's just a funny image. It's
too soon, Dan.
Boing. We lost another one, Martha.
Well, the wheel, a wheel would often, while the kid or person, a full-on grown adult, would be down on the ground. Limbs got rolled over, heads got rolled over.
Yeah, that part's not as funny.
And apparently guns were a problem. There were a lot of accidental shootings. So not...
I like that. I don't like it. It's just one of those things where now it's gone into like Mel Brooks territory.
Yeah.
Where just people are just accidentally shooting each other and folks are bouncing out of wagons all the time. That seems funny. I feel like there's a wacky thing in there somewhere, a wacky film.
Yeah.
Blazing Saddles 2, Mormons. Blazing Mormons. I like Blazing Mormons.
And then it turns out that the Mormons probably benefited a lot from the Donner and Reed's parties.
Now, the Donner Party's fairly famous, but people might not know what it is. So
they were the cannibals up in the Sierra Nevadas.
They didn't start that way.
They left the East Coast and just started eating each other.
It was just like, you know what would taste great right now? Robert.
People.
Robert over there is looking mighty juicy.
They say a woman's forearm
is the tenderest meat,
best part of the human body, right? Just right there.
There you go, a little
nice and tender.
You get one of them lunch ladies; they got a lot of forearm.
Oh yeah, sometimes quite meaty. Yummy yum.
Anyway, what happened was that they continued. They pressed onward from the Salt Lake Valley.
Yeah.
Not knowing that westward from directly west of Salt Lake is the worst place in the universe.
Yeah.
If you've heard of the Bonneville Salt Flats,
yeah,
that's where they are. They are just vast expanses of flat, salty nothing.
Yeah,
where no life can live.
Well, they were trailblazing for a lot of it, and for some key pivotal points for the Mormons who would come later, one year later, in fact, and it actually made the Mormons' trip a lot easier.
Right.
The Donners would get hung up in one spot for 3 weeks, the Mormons were able just to come marching through.
Right. The Donners did end up getting so stuck at one point that they had to eat their dead.
At what is now called Donner Pass, outside of Truckee.
Turkey?
Truckee.
Turkey?
Truckee. Just past Reno on
Okay.
I-80.
Right.
So, yeah.
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 So there you go.
Yeah.
The intrepid pioneers crossing the plains of the United States. That's what we honor today here in Utah. This is the place, Frank. Anyway,
It is the place.
we like it.
Yeah.
Those of you who live in Utah, enjoy your pie and beer today.
For those of you who don't, hey, why not?
Yeah, celebrate with us.
Yeah.
Choose a day,
Find a pie,
get a beer,
get some beer.
and just think of the Mormons. Think of the pioneers as they sang
And no, as they walked
and walked and walked and walked.
and walked.
That's a song, people. We sang that in church. There's a whole
The
song.
pioneer children sang as they walked
And walked and walked and walked and walked and walked. That was the song. I never understood what it was referring to.
But the
Actually,
kids love it.
they love to sing it. It's this fun thing to sing because you sing walked and walked and walked and walked, and I just didn't know. I literally never pieced together that was actually about something. I don't think. As
Well,
a
you
kid.
really didn't pay attention in primary.
Oh
did
no,
you?
no, I was
Wow.
I was the ADD kid.
Yeah.
I was all over the place.
Oh,
There you go.
Dan.
And I also liked. There's also a Book of Mormon Stories song that's this take on this. Now I realize, oh shit, that fucker's racist as all hell. But at the time, it was my favorite song because it's got this like Native American Indian sort of beat, hum bum 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 hum bum 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 hum bum bum bum,
Yeah.
and you sing along with it, and it's so exciting. Book of Mormon Stories that my teacher tells to me. Bum, 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 hum, bum, 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 bum. And then it's about the Lamanites, which means that it's about
In ancient history.
which the Mormons believe is what evolved to the Native Americans.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mormons own the American Indians. People, I don't know if you know that, but they got them down.
God.
Well, if you want to tell us all about how your religious tradition owns another group of people, has an explanation for an entire group of
Completely
people,
racist.
is completely racist, you can write to us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Sing your favorite primary song. just call us up and sing us your favorite church song. Doesn't have to be Mormon. Sing your favorite awful church song to us.
Okay.
Or you can go to the facebook.com. The Facebook is facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
What is the Facebook again?
The
Dan?
facebook.com.com.
Is it thefacebook.com?
It's go to THE space Facebook, and then write out the dot, write out DOT, and then write com.
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
Lose the. Just
Ooh.
Facebook. It's cleaner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You Justin Timberlake stealing motherfucker.
And then of course we are on Twitter at no thank.
We're both
At
we're batting 1,000 here, people.
Atheist.
TGI
And
Atheist.
Our website is thankgodimatheist.com. Thank you, Mackenzie, for all of your help on Facebook.
Yeah, she tried to call me while we were recording. Did you know
you're
that?
kidding.
Yeah, I got a call from Mackenzie.
Uh-oh.
We record on Thursday mornings, Mackenzie. Come on. Get it together.
It's hardly warning anymore.
No. Yeah. Well, and also thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their fine music.
And thank you, listener,
Dear listener,
for listening.
we sure appreciate you.
Putting up with us.
We sure appreciate you.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.